Hello and welcome along to Talk Sports coverage of Watford against Fulham from Vicarage Road. I'm your host Toby Gillis. You are listening to Premier League Live. Well, it's quite simple. Fulham have to earn at least a point today or they are relegated. And it's something they've done just twice all season away from home. 2 draws is all they have to show from their 16 away games so far this season. Fulham surely can't do it today. Or can they? Watford may well have half an eye on what's going on Sunday. Just a little trip to Wembley to think about. They play Wolves in the FA Cup in 5 days' time. An opportunity to just reach their second ever major final in the club's history. So is this the opportunity that Fulham crave? Is this the first chance for them to pick up points under their caretaker boss, Scott Parker? Team News sees Watford make 4 changes to the team that were beaten by Manchester United at the weekend. Very, very unfortunately as well. They played brilliantly and were so close to a result at Old Trafford, but beaten 2-1. And it's the entire back 4 that changes. So Daryl Janmad, Christian Kabasele, Miguel Britos and Adam Messina drop out. Kiko Femenia, Adrian Mariappa, Craig Cathcart and Jose Holebas come in. Their team is Ben Foster in goal, Femenia, Cathcart, Mariappa and Holebas, Will Hughes, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Etienne Capoue and Roberto Pereira in midfield, and Gerard Deulofeu partners captain Troy Deeney up front. Fulham getting us underway, by the way, shooting from left to right at Vicarage Road. Fulham make 2 changes to a team beaten also by a Manchester club last time out, Manchester City. Alex Mitrovic and Tim Ream come back into the side, and they will start, we think, with 3 at the back. They are now underway, gone long. Watford have an early throw in their left back position. Their team: Sergio Rico, Fulham. The back 3, Callum Chambers, Maxime Lemarchand and Tim Ream. Cyrus Christie on the right hand side, Joe Bryan on the left, Tom Cairney and Andre Frank Anguissa in the midfield, with Ryan Babel moving out to the right hand side, Ryan Sessegnon on the left, and Alexandra Mitrovic is the man up front, as Fulham immediately clear long, with Holebas nodding down into midfield for Capoue. And here is Craig Cathcart to Andre Gray on this damp night in North London. Troy Deeney beats Ream to a header. And incidentally, it does look like Chambers is in the midfield at the moment, as Kiko Femenia has it right hand side for Watford, who play a narrow system with Will Hughes coming in from the right now. He just got caught out there by Ryan Babel, coming back and tracking well to make the tackle, and Fulham work it to the left hand side. Joe Bryan with the touch, which takes a deflection off of a Watford player, and it's a throw in over on the far side, the Fulham left. 4th Premier League meeting between these 2 sides. All 3 of the previous ones have been drawn, and that included the 1-1 draw in the reverse earlier this season, game in which Andre Gray scored the opener for Watford inside a couple of minutes. And they're attacking early again here with Pereira trying to find the ball into Doucouré and Deeney to the left, who might have been better positioned, but Fulham are able to bring it away, and they're coming forward now with Anguissa, and Anguissa's ball is awful. Just needed a 6-7 yard pass to his right hand side to find Christie, couldn't do so, and it's behind him and out of play for a throw in, which is going to be taken by Jose Holebas. 2.5 minutes gone. I was just about to say that Watford led inside 2 minutes in the reverse, and they're attacking early doors on the right hand side here with Deulofeu. Couple of step overs, just ran into too many white shirts, works itself away to Christie. Christie plays it forward to Sessegnon, who incidentally is on the right hand side initially. Obviously feel that with his pace he can deal with Jose Holebas if he gets the opportunity. It's on the left hand side of the back 3 with Ream to Le Marchand, and now across it comes to Chambers. Chambers into Ongisa. Ongisa up towards Mitrovic on the halfway line. Very heavy touch by him, and Capoue was able to take it away and give it to Doucouré. Now Deeney drops deep into Hughes. Hughes comes back to Mariappa, and here's Cathcart. And, well, these are two sides in very, very different veins of form. Watford unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games at home, and 3 wins, 3 defeats from their last 6 in the Premier League, but all those defeats coming away at top 6 sides: Manchester United, Manchester City and Liverpool. And well, Fulham have lost their last 8 in a row in the Premier League, 12 of their last 13 in all competitions. That includes one to Oldham, lower league side in the FA Cup, as Ben Foster awkwardly clears the ball away. Deeney with a beautiful layoff towards Pereira, who's drifted from the left-hand side over towards the right. Plays it up towards Deulofeu, who's hugging that right touchline. Moves in field and gives it back to Pereira. Now Doucouré, scorer of what turned out to be mere consolation at Old Trafford in the week. Kiko Femenia gives it to Pereira. Step over, and he moves into the area right-hand side. Back away. And then he runs into Tom Kearney, who makes the tackle, and he's going to release the ball up towards Mitrovic, and now Fulham can try the counter. Mitrovic on the left-hand side up against Cathcart. Sessegnon comes up with him. Cathcart just waited and waited and waited before taking his time to stick a toe in and nick it away, and it's already end-to-end. Central of the field, Pereira out to the left for Troy Deeney. Crossfield ball out to the right for Femenia, who's in acres of space. Good start this. Femenia's shot is smashed in towards Bryan, who's gone down injured there, and Fulham have it, and Kearney is going to just wait with the referee blowing his whistle and stopping and deciding that he's going to go over and check that Joe Bryan is okay. It was awkward for Bryan, but I don't think anything dodgy came of it, or from it, for the former Bristol City player. Just the shot that, oh yeah, it hit him right where it hurts, you know. That's a painful one. Don't blame him for going down. Our referee, by the way, today is Roger East. And he's assisted today by Harry Leonard and Derek Eaton, with Lee Mason, the 4th official. And I will, of course, endeavour to keep you up to date with what's going on between Manchester United and Wolves. Remember, pretty much the only big story of the day will be whether Fulham go down or not this evening. You can always get in touch with us on Twitter, of course, as well, if you'd like to do so. At TalkSport Live is the place. Back underway in this one at Vicarage Road. It's with Fulham and Chambers inside right, out to Christie. Comes back again to the goalkeeper Rico. It's handed away by Watford, and to touch on this near side. 6.5 minutes gone. Bryan's going to be okay. Watford will be thinking to themselves, this is a big opportunity for them today, because they could find themselves up as high as 7th position again. 8th, certainly, if they win. But if Manchester United take something off of Wolves, then victory today will put the Hornets into 7th position in the Premier League. Best of the rest going into that game between those two sides in the FA Cup semi-final on Sunday. So the question really is, can Watford's players focus their minds properly today, as Sessegnon skips away from Capoue and then turns the ball away from the diving in Doucouré back into midfield. Now Christie up to the right side of the area. Sessegnon, boxer tricks, plenty of energy, comes back to Christie. Kearney wants to smash a ball in towards Mitrovic in the area, who's headed wide. Applause for the delivery from Kearney from a long, long way out. Might as well do that. He's certainly got the height as he peeled away onto Kiko Femenia and Will Hughes, who was trying to help out at the back. And he'd surely have the height on Mariappa as well. He did wonder today whether they might fancy putting Prödl or Britos or Cavaselli in for that extra height over Mariappa. was a legitimate ploy to stop Mitrovic, but he's gone as strong as he possibly can, I think it's fair to say. And Javi Gracia will be confident that his side can do the job here today, and then perhaps he might make some important resting changes for his team. Cathcart just allowed the ball to slip under his foot, but no harm done. Retrieved it in the left back area. Comes across to the magnificently bearded Adrian Mariappa, to the magnificently well-shaven Craig Cathcart, whose ball down the left-hand side is looking for Troy Deeney. I think it's just going to run out of play. It is. Good attempt of chasing that one, but you really need the pace of Dale Afeu rather than the big brute that is Troy Deeney, who shakes his head slightly there. It's a difficult delivery, that kind of ball at the moment, because it's a wet surface. It will skip off the turf as Christie has it on the right hand side. Cyrus Christie very nearly gave that one away to Capo. He's fortunate that in smashing it back to the keeper it diverted perfectly to Rico. His clearance away to the far side is headed into touch by Kiko Femenia. Throw taken by Brian into Mitrovic, taken on the chest. It just allowed Mariappa to get a toe in. Headed down to the right hand side, to the left hand side, I should say, by Kearney, and it's picked up in midfield by Ongisa. Now Brian manages to work it to Babel. Here's Ongisa. Brian once again. This is nice football by Fulham. Brian with the outside of his foot tries to turn it on to the attacking Ongisa again. It hits Kiko Femenia, and it's a throw in an attacking position for Fulham. In front of a fairly quiet family stand for the Cottagers, who might just give the ball away here. No, it's dealt with by Le Marchand across to Chambers. Here's Christie. Ongisa up towards Sessegnon, and it's well dealt with by Cathcart, playing it off of Sessegnon. 10 minutes gone. Watford 0, Fulham 0 here on Premier League Live. At TalkSport Live, if you want to get in touch with us wherever you are, happy to hear from you, and always keen to do so as well. Here is Brian on the left hand side for Fulham, attacking left to right, white shirts with just that black sponsorship band through the middle. The through ball by Babel runs straight to Ben Foster, player that some are suggesting has been the best English keeper in the Premier League this season. And if you've watched them on a regular basis, you'd be hard put to argue. It remains Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 elsewhere in the Premier League. Right hand side, here's Femenia. Kiko Femenia down the line to Dale Afeu. Early cross into the box. There's nobody in Watford colours gambling in their yellow and black striped shirts, black shorts, black socks. Manager Javi Gracia has been quite complimentary towards Fulham and admitted that he does feel a little sorry for them, but quite simply he says, we are professionals. If they're relegated, it's not only because they've lost to us, it's because this season they've had problems. I'm sorry for them. We will, though, try to win, get the 3 points, and be only focused on our team. Scott Parker, who may or may not remain as Fulham boss beyond this season, has talked about the reaction and strategy that they're going to need as and when they do go, although he hasn't quite said they will. Got to keep believing, of course. As Ongisa has possession and turns it to the left for Babel. Brian back into the Dutchman. Ongisa. Brian back to the American Ream. And now here's Le Marchand in the midfield. 29-year-old came in for £12 million from Nice in the summer. This is just a second appearance in their last 8 games, because the Manchester City game was his first in 7. As Ben Foster smashes the ball against Mitrovic, and I think they know that they'll be offside if Christie touches it. Sessegnon therefore went for it, had to just try awkwardly to bring the ball into possession, but couldn't do so with anything more than a turn out of play. So the man all in red with sort of orangey stripes across his front, hoops really. Got away with one there, could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for him, off of Mitrovic it went well wide. On the ball forward by Watford will start again, I think. No apologies, it's now gone out for a throw to Fulham. Attacking position, right hand side. Cyrus Christie to deliver. The Irish right back. Nearly 18 months at the club now. And he will have been very excited about the promotion, having come in from a championship side, and he's done well to beat Holebas here, make his way to the right side of the box, being held up by Capu. Tries to turn it back down the line to Chambers, but block came in from Pereira. It's a throw to Fulham. Come into the game a little bit better here. That's awkwardly done and came off of Doucouré. Half shouts of a handball before Watford cleared. Referee Roger East says nothing doing. Certainly like to see that one again. Sergio Rico has it back for Fulham at the back. Le Marchand gives it to the blonde-haired figure of Ream to his left. A little bit of space for him to jog out of defence and play into the centre circle for Babel. Back to Anguissa, Kearney, Le Marchand round the corner. This is nice by Fulham, and Mitrovic has found Babel, just got caught a little bit under his feet, and I think there was a free kick for a challenge on Mitrovic there as he released it. Referee tried the play on. Babel with the bright red hair, it's shaven almost to his head. To get a close-up to see the colour. But this is a free kick which Bryan will fancy delivering into the box. Ben Foster's not looked totally convincing when the ball's been coming towards him so far. Babel also over it. The Fulham players are outside the 18-yard box as they line up, but presumably once it's taken they'll run in. Bryan puts his right arm into the sky to signal exactly what's coming. It's towards Mitrovic. Cathcart beats him to it. It'll be picked up in the left back position by Jose Holebas, who's being chased all the way by Callum Chambers. Down the line he goes to Pereira. Pereira's over the halfway line. This is a nice looking attack for Watford into Deulofeu inside left position. Moves out towards the left hand touchline. Pereira. High crossfield ball to Kiko Femenia. He'll stretch his legs now down the right. Plenty of options in the box for the cross. Instead goes square to Doucouré. Now here's Capu. Fulham have got their bodies now back behind the ball. Holebas into Pereira. Brilliant bit of skill to take on Chambers. Pereira! Oh, it got blocked by Tim Ream, I think, covering. It was a wonderful little Cruyff turn that totally outfoxed Chambers, and he looked like he was opening up to turn it in off his right foot. But now at the other end, Fulham come forward. Here's Ryan Sessegnon. Sessegnon on the right-hand side of the Watford area, down by the byline, tries to turn it back towards Anguissa, and then Christie barges down Deulofeu, no foul, but his cross goes straight behind for a goal kick. And what a brilliant passage of play we just saw from both sides, really. Tim Ream vital to blocking the attacking skill of Roberto Pereira, who showed exactly why he once played in a Champions League final there. Ball in by Holebas, and he just looked behind him before it arrived at him, saw where Chambers was, and used a little Cruyff turn to turn the ball beyond him, burst into it, took another touch to move it onto his right foot, and it just allowed Ream to come in. But Pereira's skills absolutely on fire. And it's really rather fortunate for Fulham that they managed to get the man in to block the shot. But he absolutely made Chambers look like a complete mug at that moment. All over on the far side with Bryan for Fulham. Delivered header away by Mariappa. On by Capu. Runs only to Kearney. Kearney out to the left hand side for Bryan again. Joe Bryan comes back into his own half for Ream. And here now is Le Marchand. Manchester United have taken the lead at Wolves. That's going to be good news for any Watford supporters listening in, although very nearly found themselves behind themselves there, because the ball was played up towards Sessegnon and he was through, but his touch let him down, and it ran through to Ben Foster. Bit of fortune there. Manchester United's goal scored by Scott McTominay to give them the lead. Remember, if they win tonight, United, they will move back into the top 4. Having played, admittedly, a game more than Tottenham and Arsenal. Holebas will take a throw in for Watford, 18 minutes gone. Still we wait for Holebas to take it. Up it goes towards Troy Deeney, beaten in the air by Chambers. And here is Will Hughes giving it to Holebas. Holebas into Deeney. Hughes couldn't bring it under his control there too well, but it's fallen for Doucouré. Now here's Deeney into Hughes again. Just tried to buy a bit too much time. He's fortunate that he's won it back and given it to Pereira, though. Turns Christie, wants a free kick. Don't think he's going to get one there. He's looking for it, and I think he knew that too. And Fulham come away, but it's hit Holebas, who hooks it back over his head. That's going to go out of play because Pereira would have been offside if he touched it. And it remains 0-0 at Vicarage Road. Nearly 20 minutes of the game gone. Christie ready to take it. Decent support, it has to be said, from the Fulham supporters. The Vicarage Road end of the ground. There is an actual road called Vicarage Road. You see it when they open the doors in that stand as the cars go running past it. It's with Brian. And now here is Kearney. They've worked it back and then across the back 3 to Chambers, who steps out over the halfway line. Plays it simple right to the Irishman Christie. Infield to Anguissa. Back to Christie again. Time to pick an early cross if he wants. Mitrovic stretches out a leg and can't bring it under control. Watford hammer it away. It's dealt with by Ream. Anguissa with Will Hughes at him. Surely he's found him at least once or twice, maybe even 3 times there. The referee does give the free kick, and the rolling ball means the referee will bring play back. Kearney to take the free kick. And the skipper gives it short to Anguissa. Kick comes to Fulham's number 5, Callum Chambers. Cross it went to Babel, but it's been worked all the way back to Chambers again. Now Kearney, he's picked out a little bit of space to the right hand side for Christie. Up against Holebas. Holebas can't stop the ball being played into the edge of the area, and Sessegnon, who's won it back for Fulham. Now down the right hand side, Christie up against Holebas. Cross comes in, needed to be cleared and dealt with by Cathcart, and finds Pereira. Pereira's ball infield to Deulofeu, but he's played it too dangerously, and it's picked up by Anguissa. Anguissa finds the ball to Mitrovic, who's shot on the edge of the area, is tame, and an easy save for Ben Foster. But they're giving the ball away carelessly at Watford at times. Mitrovic's effort from 18 yards is an easy save, but Watford will certainly have to heed that warning as they try and attack themselves now. But Will Hughes' ball won't reach to Deulofeu, who was running through. And Watford have now got it at the back. And here is Doucouré coming over the halfway line, right side of the centre circle, into Hughes. What a ball that is by Hughes if Kiko Femenia can keep it in, which he does so comfortably. Ball in towards Deeney. Deeney's header is wide. Didn't quite get as firm a contact on it as he'd wanted. But Watford responding to what Mitrovic did at one end with a very threatening attack of their own. Cross came in. Deeney looked for all the world like he was going to get a firm header on it, but it rather skimmed off his forehead as he dived onto the ball and ran away for the goal kick. Great attack by the Hornets, unable to provide the finishing touch. They've won it again in midfield here. Here's Hughes for Pereira. He's left it for Doucouré. Doucouré onto his left foot, shoots! 1-0 Watford. Well, he's talked all about how he wants to be a Champions League player in the last couple of weeks. He's scored their last goal against Manchester United at the weekend, and he's got the opener, the one that would Ashley stamp at the 7th, but perhaps more importantly, as far as the big Premier League picture is concerned, would relegate Fulham onto his left foot. He started the move by winning it in the midfield. Pereira's just left it for him, made the decoy run, and then Doucouré onto his left foot from 16 yards out, smacks it past Sergio Rico, who, diving down to his right hand side, could only flounder at the ball. Watford 1, Fulham 0. And it was some finish as well. Started and finished by Doucouré, and they absolutely love him here. His 5th goal of the season, and well, he was their top scorer last season, but they're a far better side this time, far more balanced, as Mitrovic wins a header from the restart, and it heads out to the far side towards Babel to Kearney. Now Bryan, his cross comes in, that's going to be into the arms of Ben Foster. Well, Fulham have only kept one clean sheet away from home all season. Once again, they will not do so today, as Capoue is brought down there in the midfield, just to the right of the centre circle by Ryan Sessegnon. Free kick to the Hornets. 73rd goal of the season that they've conceded, Fulham. That is the most in any of Europe's top 5 leagues. And well, they rarely come back from behind. If they don't earn a draw today, it becomes impossible for them to avoid this being their worst season in their entire history. Doucouré, Pereira, Doucouré. Even if they won all of their remaining games, that would be the case. Capoue, Hughes, passing it about nicely, but this time it doesn't reach Pereira. Anguissa is there. Christie clears long for Fulham. Cathcart with a lovely little dummy to make it look like he was going to attack the ball. Mitrovic went that way, and then he just lets it run beyond, chases it back, and gives it to Ben Foster. Doucouré, goodness me, that was close to Mitrovic. It's fortunate that it ran to Capoue. Doucouré now overtaking Capoue in that battle of the midfield scorers. Both have got 4 in all competitions prior to tonight. As Will Hughes comes forward, gives it to Deulofeu. Deulofeu, 25 yards from goal, turns and gives it back to Doucouré. Hughes, Deulofeu. Looking for someone to pass to, moves it right for Kiko Femenia. And now they work it back to Capoue. Crossfield to Pereira. Always fairly narrow, Watford. They've actually, amazing statistic that I discovered in the start to this game, or the build-up to this game. 31% of Watford's possession is down the middle of the pitch. That is by quite a distance the most in the Premier League, and they're attacking again in that position at the moment, although Hughes' ball just about cut out by the covering Ream. Then Bryan, like a late challenge on him by Hughes there. I should point out that the next most central team, if you want to put it that way, is Fulham. And, it's 28% of their system, so we've got 2 sides that don't cross the ball an awful lot. Although ironically, of course, Fulham you'd think would be doing just that to get the ball onto the head of Aleksandar Mitrovic. Here's Ream in an advanced position, turning it to the left for Bryan. When I say advanced, he's 15-20 yards inside the Watford half. The ball's just smashed against Anguissa, and it's fallen awkwardly, and it's fallen to Watford. And here's Hughes. I think Fulham have got bodies back now. Babel, apologies that it hit in the centre circle. He's got himself back to his feet. Watford continuing possession with Mariappa at the back. To Cathcart. Cathcart to Holebas. This surely is the team that Watford will start with in the semi-final. Nice ball to turn it into Deeney. Now De La Feu, Deeney's step over, runs for Pereira, right hand side. De La Feu's got Holebas in acres on the far side if he spots him. He didn't do so until now, and it's just headed away by Christie before it reaches him, and then Hughes can't win the header against Sessegnon, who's coming away down the right hand side. Holebas nicks it off of him though. Holebas, advanced position for Watford. Doucouré now in the centre. High ball out to the right hand side. Drops to De La Feu. Spaniard who scored a hat-trick earlier in the season against Cardiff. Away from home, Watford would be thinking that potentially this is as easy a home fixture as they might have had in some time. Here's Kearney though winning it for Fulham and working it out to the left for Babel. Ryan Babel came in from Besiktas in Turkey in the January transfer window. Ongisa, Kearney, Ongisa, high ball out to the right looking for Christie, and he's brought it down nicely on his chest, level with the Watford 18-yard box. Comes back in field and into Ongisa. Now here's Chambers up towards the right edge of the area for Sessegnon, who's offside. Might have been a handball there. It was the Watford fans, I think, that were shouting for it. He was facing the assistant on this near side, so he was never going to get away with it. Only Yeovil have lost more games in England's top 4 divisions in this calendar year. 12 defeats in 13. Yeovil 13 defeats so far this in 2019. With Mariappa at the back for Watford. Abdoulaye Doucouré's goal separates the two sides. He's in possession at the moment, moves it to the right hand side for De La Feu. Listening to the Premier League live. It's with Capu for Watford. Cathcart, remember, they could go to extra time at the weekend, so anyone who might be feeling it fitness wise might just get taken off if Watford maintain a lead to the midpoint of the second half, say. They're attacking again with De La Feu, tries the cross, blocked awkwardly by Bryan, and then De La Feu's brought him down. He thought he'd won a corner, but the Spaniard did something that referee Roger East didn't like. Javi Gracia is watching on. All the support is there for Fulham's caretaker boss to remain head coach throughout next season as well. Ryan Sessegnon spoke before this game. He says Scott Parker has come in and changed the way we play. You can see the impact he's had around the stadium, and said it would be good for the club to hire him. But it is 4 defeats from 4 so far. Those losses to Manchester City, Liverpool, Leicester and Chelsea. But they're attacking well here with Christie. Right hand side, moving infield. Christie's delivery into the box is easily headed away by Kiko Femenia, and then down by Hughes to De La Feu, and it stayed in the air here, but Hughes eventually losing out to Ream, and it's with Ongisa. Now Kearney, who's gone down, a little hack by Hughes, and it's a free kick to Fulham inside the Watford half. Wolves have equalised against Manchester United. Diogo Jota with the goal for Fulham. 1 apiece. By all accounts, it sounds like United masters of their own downfall as Fulham managed to find that angled ball into Mitrovic in the area. And his pass across the 18-yard box was straight at Capu and easy for Watford to clear. But Fulham have it again in the midfield. Central position inside the centre circle for Ongisa, up towards Sessegnon. I think Capu maybe just put him off with the sliding tackle, so he misplaced the pass, but Ongisa picks up the rebound up towards Christie. He'll hang up across towards the back post. Goodness me, I think that might have hit the crossbar. And what's the referee spotted? Benton Foster was really struggling to ensure that stayed out. Now what have we seen here? Christie, did he fail to keep the ball in? I think he might have delivered the cross and it possibly just came back in. So a goal kick has been given here. Yeah, you can see he did well. And Foster, I tell you, he flapped at that. It was going away from his goal. Oh, I don't think that's out of play, you know. And he very nearly turned it into his own net. Extraordinary bit of goalkeeping. Watford just about keep the clean sheet for now, but Mitrovic has found Sessegnon, who briefly gets goal side of Holebas, finds the little ball in towards Babel, who's going to round the keeper and equalise for Fulham. Well, I'd say on the balance that's not undeserved, you know. Lovely work by Fulham. Watford have been at 6s and 7s at the back quite a number of times in this game already. But the equaliser comes from Ryan Babel. One again in the midfield. Sessegnon moved in. Lovely reverse ball. Mariappa left for dead. Babel rounds Foster. Watford 1, Fulham 1. And Ryan Babel now has scored 3 goals in his 11 games. Add 3 assists to that. That's an extraordinary statistic for a team struggling as they are. Ongisa, Sessegnon, Babel. Boom. Watford 1, Fulham 1. Scott Parker delighted on the touchline, and why not? Fulham, as things stand, staying in the Premier League. Just about. I mean, admittedly, their goal difference is so poor that realistically, it's not likely to be enough. They'd have to win every game, and win every game by a lot, and have those teams above them losing their games. Not even likely in a million years to happen, but if they win today, well, you just never know. It was a lovely goal as well. And they've got possession again here with Mitrovic on the right hand side, tries to find Ongisa, can't burst past Doucouré. And then Capu loses out in the second challenge, but he's managed to wrap a leg around Sessegnon there. And Watford making a real meal of getting out of this situation. They've given it away to Mitrovic. He tries the cross from the right-hand side, blocked by Holebas, throw into Fulham. It's a really nice goal. Fulham's a couple of minutes ago now. They work the ball across to Kearney. I think Kearney might have given it away to Deulofeu there. He has done so. Gave it back to Mariappa, and now he releases Deulofeu again. Out into that left-hand channel, looking for Pereira, who can't quite kick the ball in. Throw in to the Cottagers. Boss Scott Parker went down with Fulham as a player back in 2014. A relegation from which they've only just recovered. It is almost certainly going to be relegation once again, this time as coach. Won't of course be him that's at fault. Slavica Jokanovic, disastrous choice of tactics early doors. Man, very, very popular at Watford, of course. They'd have probably quite liked him to be in the dugout today. Give him a warm welcome, having got them promoted as well. As the ball's going to run into the area for Fulham. Brian misses it. Mitrovic across to Babel. Awkward was their handball. It's going to be cleared away as far as Ongisa, blocked by Hughes. Somehow Watford survive again, but they're leaving plenty of gaps at the back. They're attacking now, though, through Pereira. He's given the ball away. Worked only to Le Marchand, but he's run into Capu. And Watford will now come forward with Kiko Femenia, right side of the centre circle. Out to the right for Deulofeu. Ball in towards Deeney is beyond him, and it's headed away into touch on this near side by Chambers. Throw to Watford. Holebas coming to take. A really entertaining encounter so far, as once again we see Mitrovic's delivery out to the far side. Ooh, I tell you what, I think there's a handball there in by Holebas. I think Fulham might well have had a penalty there. Babel didn't make too much complaint about it at the time, but did Watford get away with one? Holebas has it on the left-hand side of the attacking third of the field at the moment now. Being just hemmed into the corner. It's come off Ongisa last, I'm convinced. Throw-in's gone Fulham's way anyway. Well, I think that Holebas handled the ball in the box and probably could have prevented himself doing so as well. No penalty for Fulham. Only sort of half appealed, it has to be said, as Hughes tries to deliver a ball over his head towards Deeney, who's been quiet tonight, it's got to be said. Mitrovic's opposite number wins it for Fulham, but Sessegnon just slipped as the ball came towards him. Watford work it between Doucouré and Cathcart back to Mariappa. Out to the far side and Kiko Femenia, far too easily away from Babel. He'll turn it down the right hand side to Deulofeu, and he's continued his run as well. Deulofeu, 100 step overs, and then another 3 or 4 as well to try and get away from Ream. Comes back to Doucouré down the line. Doucouré for Capoue. Now Doucouré again, and it goes towards Deulofeu, and Watford just can't quite work the way into the box properly. And here's Babel up, and he's turned Mariappa and leaves him for dead as well. And now here's Kearney, and Fulham are getting bodies forward. Mitrovic is central, Babel to the left, Sessegnon to the right. He's gone to the young Englishman. Sessegnon onto his right foot, shoots straight at Foster. Easy save for Ben Foster, but Fulham are certainly giving as good as they're getting. Lovely counter. But it was lacking in quality right at the end there. Picked the right option, I think. Just a little bit crowded, but Sessegnon, I don't know if you remember what used to be called in these parts the Odienigalo chop, where he was able to turn inside men and get shots away. That was exactly what Sessegnon just did there onto his right foot. Quite have the same impact that Igalo did so many times at Vicarage Road. Watford have it inside right with Doucouré. I think he thought about a shot from 25 yards from there. Instead goes to the right hand side to Deulofeu. A little trick by Deulofeu again. He's full of those. Doucouré now back to the Spaniard. Gerard Deulofeu might come back to Capoue, who he's lost out there to Anguissa, and again Fulham can counter. It's only 2 against Watford's 3 at the moment, but now Sessegnon coming forward. Capoue's getting back at him. It's going to work the wall towards Mitrovic. It might open up for him, and he slices it into the Watford fans behind the goal. Looks down at the ground as if to say, was there a divot? Well, I'll tell you what, that was a poor effort from Alexander Mitrovic. Sessegnon did well to hold off Capoue and work it to him, and he had Christie going outside of him. And I think that Cathcart didn't quite narrow the angle as he thought he had done, you know. It was still open to hit into that corner of the net, but he's missed his chance and fluffed his lines, and 40 minutes gone, it remains Watford 1, Fulham 1. Capoue down the middle into Hughes. Hughes tries to find Pereira, can't quite do so. That's where it remains Wolves 1, Man United 1. Ball forward by Fulham, headed away by Mariappa, only as far as Tom Kearney in the midfield for Fulham. Moved out to the left-hand side and then back towards the halfway line through Babel, and then to Ream. And they really do sort of become two centre-halves when they go forward. One of Chambers and Ream happy to get forward. Fulham fans enjoying what's been a really good performance so far as they work it to the right-hand side to Christie. Attacking third of the field again for the Cottagers, and he's turned inside 2 yellow-shirted players, and just when he turned back, it allowed Pereira to get a toe in. Pereira, though, being hemmed in down by the corner flag. Little 1-2, but he's given it away to Anguissa. Anguissa, right side of the area, plays it down towards the corner flag for Christie, who's going to keep it in, and I think he's won his team a corner there off of Holobas. Fulham the better side. First corner of the game goes their way. Chance to put some bodies into the box. It's the Fulham fans you can hear, and I'm not surprised. Looking to stop themselves becoming one of what would be only 6 teams ever to play a full Premier League season without an away victory. The others, Derby, Hull, Norwich, Wolves and Leeds, they need at least 1 point to avoid being the worst ever away team in a Premier League season. And they're looking to take a lead here, although the corner's straight into the arms of Ben Foster, who's so comfortable in dominating his area. Doucouré straight at Kearney, and Kearney high ball out to the right hand side where Bryan's waiting, still waiting from the corner position. This shot is blocked, and Cathcart clears the with a little clip ball down to Troy Deeney, who we've barely mentioned. Deeney, has he given the ball away? No, Hughes is there, but it's so awkward. Capu then having to volley the ball across the field, where Kiko Femenia will come forward for the Hornets. Kiko Femenia in towards De La Feu. It was just ahead of him. He had to slide to try and get anything on it. Did do so, but couldn't divert it towards Decore. Down the left-hand side come Fulham again. Mitrovic. Oh, and he's taken out there by Adrian Mariappa, and that's definitely a yellow card for the former Crystal Palace man. Yep, first yellow of the game. And, well, he knew what he was doing there, and he really had to do so. Took out the Serb, who missed the Manchester City defeat through injury. There's still some doubt about him for today. Muscular problem. He's okay, picking himself up. Big brute, probably the most saleable of Fulham's assets, you'd have thought, should it come to that in the summer. Maybe Seri as well, who's on the substitutes bench today after being rested following that long trip to the Ivory Coast during the international break when they played City the weekend. Here's Chambers giving it to Ongisa in the centre circle to the left-hand side as we move into the final minute before stoppage time at the end of the first half. Ball slipped up towards Kearney. Kearney just tried to let it drop beyond him. Mariappa read it well. And here's Capu. Capu now up towards De La Feu. He's got a couple of Fulham players behind him, and the Watford fans that are restless at the moment, and I'm not surprised. Here it is with Sessegnon to Christie. Sessegnon making a run into the area. Christie decides to deliver it a bit deeper towards the attacker, the man who scored their goal, Babel. It might have been a handball when he brought it down there. Referee says no. Babel has it back into Ongisa. Fulham look like a decent team at the moment. If they played like this all season, I tell you, they wouldn't be in half the trouble they're in. Chambers to the right for Christie. Sessegnon makes a run that he decides against finding. Comes back to Chambers. Fulham, I think, will be pretty pleased with 1-1 at half-time before the game, but probably not given how it's played out. Better team. On diagonal ball, Mitrovic flicks on towards Bryan. Can Bryan cut it back onto his right foot, gets the cross in. Mitrovic is convinced there was a handball there. Absolutely convinced. It bobbles through to the goalkeeper, and the referee says no doing. Foster, plenty of time as we move into 2 minutes of stoppage time. And he's going to smack that ball up towards Troy Deeney, who does get the header on. Won't find De La Feu. Headed away by Ream, and then the second clearance by Le Marchand only finds Cathcart in the centre circle. Here's Holebas. Demanded delivery from him, which he tries to deliver, but it's blocked so easy again, and poorly they give the ball away. This is Christie, inside right, comes back to Ongisa, into the centre circle for Kearney, has a little look over his shoulder before he receives it, plays it square to Ream. Ream to Bryan. Minute of stoppage time has already been played. Back it comes to Le Marchand, and here is Chambers. Right hand side, Christie. Chambers again. Back it goes to Le Marchand, and they're going to boom that one forward, looking for Babel, who's in an advanced position. Watford's clearance only reaches Kearney. Here is Ongisa. Ongisa stepping forward. Now out to the right-hand side for Christie. Christie needs an option. Comes back for Babel. Babel's delivery towards the back post, looking for Mitrovic, who's peeled the whole time to the left, where he's up against the smaller fullback and centre-half of Watford. But I think that one was too long. Well, it certainly was too long. Out of play it's gone. And, well, that will be, I'm pretty sure, the last action, as we see the ball again coming off of Will Hughes. And that was off his arm, but I would argue that he was pulling his arm away, and surely also he was never gaining an advantage. And so the half-time whistle goes, and, well, frankly, I think Watford will be the happier of the two teams given this current scoreline, because although they took the lead through Abdoulaye Doucouré's pile-driving effort, Fulham have been the better side. They equalised through Ryan Babel. Arguably should have had a penalty for a handball by Jose Holebas. and probably had the next best chance as well when Ryan Sessegnon forced a save out of Ben Foster. Half-time, it's Watford 1, Fulham 1, as we send you back to Ben Thornley and Tom Rennie watching the late stages of the first half of Wolves against Manchester United.
Commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there, Lovren's there, Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester.
Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
Done really well there to go back to Fred, and then McTominay, bit of space for Scott McTominay, and he finds the bottom corner with an absolutely superb drive, skidding off the surface, no chance for Rui Patricio. From the goal kick, they've won it back again here, Wolves, they'll slip it through to Jota, who's through! And he'll equalise for Wolverhampton Wanderers. First time they've really got forward for any spell in this game. Brilliant diagonal run by Diogo Jota, found brilliantly, and one-on-one with De Gea. In this form, he wasn't going to miss. It's Wolves 1, United 1. Back to Jimenez, who looks for a first-time return. It's off Shaw's head, it's broken to Doherty, cuts it back, shot a goal by Dendoncker, and he spooned it over the top from 6 yards out. Yeah, welcome back. You are listening to Premier League Live on this special night here in the Premier League. Tuesday evening, plenty of great drama at Molineux. We'll get to Watford Fulham as well, where the score is 1-1 at the break shortly. But Ben Thornley alongside me watching the Manchester United game. Your former team, United, started so well, scored a great goal through Scott McTominay, then from that point on got totally bossed by Wolves.
Yeah, they did. They didn't capitalise. Obviously, we had Lukaku's chance in the first few minutes, and then either side of that we had the goal, but we had Jesse Lingard's header as well. And before Wolves actually got on the score sheet, United could have been 3 to the good and probably out of sight. But they allowed Wolves to come back into it, and they thoroughly deserved their equaliser. And ever since then, it's pretty much been all Wolves, barring that one chance right at the death of the first half for Romelu Lukaku when he just pulled it wide of the right-hand post.
Isn't it great to see two players in Raul Jimenez and Diogo Jota who have got that almost old-fashioned strike-pairing relationship? They just know where the other one's going to be, where he's running. We've seen so many times, including the goal. They've got great link-up.
Yeah, they have. They've played together all season, and you can see what an understanding they've started to develop with the goals that they've been involved in, and no more so than the one that we've seen this evening. It was a lovely run off the back of Chris Smalling. Yes, I questioned Ashley Young's defending, but it was a perfectly weighted pass from Jimenez, and a lovely cool finish from Jota, and two guys that have performed admirably all season, and for me will probably continue to get even better. A real handful.
If you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at half-time, would you change much about Manchester United?
Well, one thing that United haven't got when they've been under the cosh in recent fixtures, especially away from home, they've used the the pace of the likes of Rashford and Martial. Okay, Rashford isn't here, but I think that's where we're lacking, because we've got no counter-attacking attributes at all at the moment, and the ball, especially in the last sort of 20-25 minutes, every time it goes away, it just looks like coming back, and we haven't got that sort of cutting thrust to get forward and get Wolves turned. Everything's in front of them, and they're comfortable, it has to be said.
Ben, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. 1-1 at half-time between Wolves and Manchester United. What about the other game this evening between Watford and Fulham? A reminder that if Fulham lose this evening, they will be relegated to the Championship. Let's get the first half highlights. Toby Gillis is your commentator.
Fulham have got their bodies now back behind the ball. Holebas into Pereira. Brilliant bit of skill to take on Chambers. Pereira! Oh, it got blocked for Pereira. He's left it for Doucouré. Doucouré onto his left foot. Shoots! 1-0 Watford. Well, he's talked all about how he wants to be a Champions League player in the last couple of weeks. He's scored their last goal against Manchester United at the weekend. And he's got the opener. The one that would, as things stand, put them seventh. But perhaps more importantly, as far as the big Premier League picture is concerned, would relegate Fulham. Mitrovic has found Sessegnon, who briefly gets goal side of Holebas. Finds the little ball in towards Babel, who's going to round the keeper and equalise for Fulham. Well, I'd say on the balance, that's not undeserved, you know. Lovely work by Fulham. Watford have been at 6s and 7s at the back quite a number of times in this game already.
So, as it stands, Fulham would live to fight another day. Let's put some meat on the bones at half-time with Toby, who can tell us exactly what happened across the entire 45.
Well, Fulham will be relegated tonight if they lose this game, but they have played like anything but relegation candidates. Yes, they fell behind to Abdoulaye Doucouré's 23rd minute drive, but really they've been the better side. Opportunities for Mitrovic and Sessegnon have gone begging, while Ryan Babel equalised in the 34th minute, and they possibly could have had a penalty as well. Did Jose Holebas get away with one when it hit his hand from a Babel cross? Fulham the better team. Scott Parker may be heading for his first points as Fulham's caretaker boss, but realistically they need a win to have any chance of staying in the Premier League going forward. A draw would do it mathematically. Watford happier at the break. Watford 1, Fulham 1.
Toby, thank you very much indeed. That's available through our digital broadcast partners around the world. Available on the website as well, talksport.com/EN. Goals as they go in right here during our commentary of your big match, Wolves against Manchester United. Ben Thornley is alongside me for the game from Molineux. But just briefly on what we heard there between Watford and Fulham, I kind of thought it might be game, set and match tonight for Fulham, but they're showing a bit of fight, and that's important, isn't it, when you go down? You don't want to go down like Huddersfield with just a elongated whimper.
Yeah, whimper. Yeah, I hope they do make a bit of a fist of it, because they can live to fight another day, and you never know what might happen. The next game. Yeah, okay. In the end, they probably will go down, but it's great for the fans that they are showing some real fight.
And maybe good for Scott Parker as well, as Toby says there. It would be his first point if things stay as they are as Fulham manager. We know he wants the job, and that's up for debate as to whether he'll get offered it. But if you come in as a caretaker manager to prove yourself and you lose every game and get relegated, you're probably not going to be kept on, are you?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. No, and it'll be great for him. Should it stay like that, or if you never know, they might go and snatch a winner. But he must be itching to get his first points on the board. He probably realises as well that the time's up for Fulham in the Premier League. But if they can show some fight and maybe get a couple of results, even if they are mathematically relegated, it will stand him in good stead for them to give him the job for the Championship season coming up.
As it stands, 1-1 in that game at Vicarage Road between Watford and Fulham. We'll get back to Toby right across the next 45 minutes and bring you the full-time whistle as well in that game. Back here, it's also 1-1 between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Manchester United. The second half is coming up next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Alexander-Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, hits it goal. Oh, Lloris has missed it. It's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Knockout for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot. Curling one! Oh,
What a great
it's a
finish.
stunner! Anthony Knockout gives Brighton the lead again! In a goal that will be played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the top corner and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse! He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick.
Hazard into the corner! What a goal from Eden Hazard! That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League preview show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to Premier League Live and our coverage of Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Manchester United 1 from Molineux. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former United winger Ben Thornley. This is Premier League Live. And I've got to tell you this, during the half-time break, a couple of Wolves players have been out warming up, but they've got a fabulous and I'm sure expensive light show here at Molineux. And so, Ben, you've got two players basically passing to each other in the dark. What's going on here? Are they Fred? What's happening? I mean, you've got to give the fans a bit of entertainment, but yeah, anyway, it's not a light show, it's a football match. Let's try and enjoy it for that reason, shall we? The players are back out with us and all the lights are back on, thankfully. There doesn't seem to be any changes at the break, so I'll give you the 11s. Starting with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rui Patricio is in goal. Back three of Willy Bolly, Connor Cody and Ryan Bennett. Cody, the captain of the side.
Hello and welcome along to TalkSport's coverage of Watford against Fulham from Vicarage Road. I'm your host Toby Gillis. You're listening to Premier League Live. And perhaps not too much of a surprise to hear that Watford, having been, although level at one apiece at half-time, the weaker of the two sides by some difference, have made two substitutions at the break. We're seeing the arrival of Andre Gray to play up front, and of Daryl Janmaat down the right-hand side. And he's gone to right back, and it's Kiko Femenia who's on the right side of midfield. So there's the switch there, and I think Troy Deeney's gone off as well, so a bit of a change of system. Will Hughes presumably into central midfield, so it is a real reshuffle
I'll tell you about it in a second when I get absolute confirmation of the changes, but certainly I can't see Deeney. Yeah, and certainly I can't see... No, there is Deeney. Well, I'll tell you the confirmation of them in a moment. But it does remain Watford 1, Fulham 1 right now. And we are back underway in this second half. Doucouré with the opening goal for Watford. Babel with the equaliser for the Cottagers. By a distance, the better of the two sides. Here is Kiko Femenia. Infield to Capu. Now forward it goes towards Deeney, in towards Gray. He's tried to slip it through to him as well. And Gray couldn't quite, or Deeney really couldn't quite get enough purchase on that. Although Mitrovic has given it away to Doucouré here. Doucouré, infield to Hughes, back to Capu. And he's going to come back to Cathcart. So it's Pereira that's gone off and Dale Afeu. As Hughes has it right hand side. Kiko Femenia going inside of him. Hughes has made enough ground for the cross. Gets blocked by Babel. It's going to come back to the former Derby midfielder. Now the cross in by Kiko Femenia towards Gray. Might run over to the far side for Holebas, won't do so. And then it's cleared away and Cathcart nods it down for Mariappo, who smashes it forward. And then the tackle is late by Janmat. And there's going to be a yellow card for him as well. So his first involvement is to be booked. Early stages of this second half for the foul on Kearney, and that's an absolutely correct decision. So what's interesting about this change is that really it's a bit of a change in system as well. So unless he's put Doucouré out on the left hand side, then it's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, Doucouré remains in the centre. Deeney is there as well with Gray, as Holebas has won the ball back for Watford, and he's going to tear forward as well. Holebas down the left hand side, and he's brought down there by Christie. No foul. Just wondering if it's suddenly a back three, you know, with Janmat dropping in there. It's very difficult to see from this position. It certainly looks like it now. Here's Bryan into Mitrovic. Watford just beginning to match up to what Fulham are doing. That's exactly what it is, you know. So let's give you this lineup as it's revised. It's Foster in goal, Janmat, Cathcart and Mariappo, and oh dearie me, Holebas is down and in some pain. So then it's Femenia on the right hand side and Holebas on the left as wing backs. The midfield now is Hughes. Let's just see this again. What happened to Holebas here? Oof, did he just catch his ankle as he went over? Oh, I think he did, you know. That's a twisted ankle. And Holebas, see it again. Oh, yeah, that's a nasty one. I think that might be some sort of ligament damage, you know. And here's that, his involvement in the semi-final finished and over. The rest of the team, Hughes, Doucouré, Capu, Deeney and Gray. Fulham, Rico, Chambers, Le Marchand and Ream at the back. Christie right, Bryan left, Kenny and Anguissa in midfield. Sessegnon right, Babel left, Mitrovic up front. Holebas looks in pain, is still down. Silence drifts across Vicarage Road. The man who is so important in terms of set pieces for Watford. But he's back to his feet. He looks all right. He's limping. And I think it might be groin, you know, rather than ankle. Deeney will take this throw, just giving it back to Fulham, who, remember, in defeat tonight would be relegated, but a draw would
all but seal their fate. It would put them within 15 points of safety with 5 to play. They'd need Burnley and or Southampton to lose all their remaining games, and Cardiff not to pull any further away than that too, and then they'd have to win everything else. Their remaining matches, by the way, are against Everton at home, Bournemouth away, Cardiff at home, Wolves away and Newcastle at home. After a difficult run where they've played Manchester City, Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea in their last 4, it's arguably looked a bit healthier for them, but nevertheless you could argue it's unlikely they'll win the lot. If they were to win tonight, well, then they can still afford a draw in one of those at some point, as long as they turn around the goal difference. They're attacking at the moment with Babel. Babel's ball, well, Sessegnon wasn't watching, so Cathcart's easily first to it. I think it goes to Ben Foster. Fascinating to know Javi Gracia's thoughts on Ben Foster in terms of the Cup semi-final, because up to now it's been Aurelio Gomez, their sub-keeper, who's been playing in the Cup, as Rico smashes the ball away, and one in the air from the long clearance by Mariappa might come down for Capu, does, and then drops kindly for Mariappa. Or whether now they get to Wembley, they think, right, Gomez has played his last games for us realistically, barring an injury to Foster, and we go with the Englishman in the semi, as that spins up towards Andre Gray and got back to goal, edge of the area, slips it left for Holebas. Holebas with Sessegnon with him, and he's got away from him, crosses into the box, it's dipping underneath the crossbar, the keeper's had to push it over, and that's a corner to Watford, and it might have been dipping in. It must have taken a deflection, I think, off of Holebas's cross. See this again. Yeah, did you know, it took an awkward one off of Chambers, and I think it was dipping under the crossbar. Rico did well to just tip it over, readjusting his body. And the decision of the corner is that it's going to be over on the near side, the Watford right. So an in-swinger for the Greek. Former international, of course, retired from international duty some time ago. Watford now with no clean sheet and 6, including tonight. How much they'd have liked to have changed that this evening going into the Cup. Holebas readies himself to take. Takes it short to Kiko Femenia. Loads of space and time for him to whip the cross in. Only white shirts at the back post where his cross was delivered to. And Hughes picks up the loose ball into the far side, and it's back to Hughes. It's behind Deeney and in front of Gray, and an easy clearance for Fulham. Cathcart gets his head to it, hits Kearney, drops kindly for the midfielder, former Scottish international, of course, and he's worked it to the left hand side for the red-haired Ryan Babel, and it goes towards Ryan Sessegnon. Babel, former Liverpool man, into Kearney. Ream just inside his own half, back to Kearney over the halfway line. Across it goes to Ongisa, coming beyond him is Chambers, has played in midfield at times for Fulham this season. Tweeted a message to the Fulham fans after defeat to Manchester City at the weekend and got only warm responses. People talking about him being the only one that ever really seemed to try on a full-time basis this season. As Watford have a throw from the bouncing, awkward ball, which Janmaat takes. Capo, and now stepping forward, and it's a sort of imbalanced Watford in many ways at the moment, with the way that Capo's allowed to come, that Janmaat's allowed to come forward, but he does just drop back into the 3 when they're not in possession. And he's waving the rest of his teammates forward as well at the moment, as Holebas has it over on the far side, the left. Christie trying to stop him, and he's gone through Christie's legs, he's balked, and I think that'll be a yellow card as well, will it? Surely. 10 minutes into the second half, will be fortunate to avoid one, Christie. Beaten for skill, but that doesn't make it any less of a yellow in my book. Apparently it does in the referees. Olivas is grimacing. Surprised in the wars somewhat. Puts the ball up his shirt as it's placing it, ready to place it down behind the mark that the referee has used vanishing spray on. Left hand side of the box, level with the penalty spot, 4 or 5 yards wider of the area. Plenty of height in the box. Doucouré, Cathcart, Deeney, it's in towards the near post. Rico pushes it away. Header on by Babel, will be picked up by Kiko Femenia. Uses the deepest player, Janmaat. His straight long ball looks for Gray. Can he bring it down? Watford want a penalty, absolutely no chance. Christie on Deeney. I think Deeney really went through the back of Christie, if anything. Arguably a foul the other way. Certainly no penalty. Remember, it's 1-1 in the other game between Wolves and Manchester United, so we're as we were in terms of the positions that Watford and Wolves are in as they battle to try and get into 7th. Watford would actually climb 1 place above Everton, but in terms of sort of that finishing 7th, possibility of Europe, one of those that is worth finishing in, because if you do get to the final of the Cup, as Wolves and Watford both will hope to do, one of them will, then if they were to lose to Manchester City, or indeed Brighton in the final, and Manchester City in particular, well no, Manchester City only, then 7th position becomes a Europa League spot. So worth the fight. Here's Mitrovic for Fulham, coming from the right hand side inside the Watford half. Short square to Ream. Ream's ball forward is well cut out and read by Janmaat, and Janmaat will tear forward now, and he's got the ball up towards Andre Gray, edge of the area, took a little glance, saw Deeney into Janmaat, dances into the box. Rico bravely at his feet, claims, and is in some pain from the collision. Janmaat had every right to go for the ball. He's danced through defences before, thinking notably Watford's first win under Javi Gracia, where he scored a brilliant goal against Chelsea at Vicarage Road. This time he couldn't quite get there ahead of Rico as he tried to stab the ball towards goal, and I can see why Rico's in some pain. He'll be okay. He's holding his left wrist. Plenty of contact with Janmaat. As I say, he was just going for the ball, as he had every right to do. It's Fabry, the sub-goalkeeper, who is warming up. I suspect Rico will be okay. Troy Deeney's having a conversation with Roger East, our referee. I'm not totally sure what that's about. Somebody you argue with Troy Deeney, I don't think. He's not the tallest, but he's an absolute beast. Oh, he's having a conversation about the penalty that he thinks he should have had from Christie, and I've just watched it again and I'm still convinced not even slightly. In fact, arguably even less slightly than I initially thought. He's pulled Christie down. No doubt. Manchester United have had a man sent off at Wolves. Ashley Young given a red card. So that might affect things as well. Wolves have a slightly easier task between now and the end of tonight. Gray gives it to Doucouré. He's got 3 white shirts around him. Does well to emerge and work it to the right for Kiko Femenia. Into Doucouré, edge of the area, tries the 1-2 with Femenia. He's asking an awful lot, and Bryan is there first. Joe Bryan's clearance looking for Babel, who's just got his body into Janmaat there and forced him off the ball, and it bounced through to Mitrovic. Fulham now working it to the right hand side for Christie. Haven't quite had that threat that they had in the first half, Fulham, in the first 15 of the second, and Cathcart's dealt with that well, giving it to Foster, and his left foot clip out finds Deeney, looking for Gray, cleared away by Le Marchand. Back from Cathcart to Capoue, giving the ball away to his opposite number on Gisa, far too easily. Christie gives it to Le Marchand. Now here's Ream in the centre circle for Fulham. Babel, Kearney up to Mitrovic, trying to hold off Mariappa, and he slipped the ball through towards Sessegnon here. Keeper's calm, keeper's block, brilliant from the keeper. I don't think he'd have wanted to be there once the ball had found Sessegnon, so he just stayed big, and really Sessegnon tried to hit through the keeper and couldn't do so, and Watford have it with Doucouré. Never really, even though he was very close to the goal and one-on-one with the keeper, never really felt like a massive chance for Sessegnon, because he sort of had his back to goal initially, turned, and the keeper was right on top of him. Just had to make sure he kept himself big, did Foster there, and he's done it well. Here's Hughes on the right-hand side for Watford. Janmat, Doucouré, Janmat again, up it goes towards Gray. Little upping reverse ball into Doucouré, similar position to where he scored from in the first half. This time the shot hits Christie, bounces out to Holebas. Holebas onto his left foot, shot maybe more of a cross, took a deflection into the goalkeeper. Reliably informed that the Ashley Young sending off was for a foul on Diogo Jota, who has stayed down as shot comes in from Gray. It's just wide, only just wide. It must have taken a deflection as well to corner. Gray on the turn from 20 yards, just fancied it really, more than 20 yards, 25, and it did take a deflection, and a crucial one at that, only just wide. He's scored in each of his last 3 home appearances as Andre Gray. Second corner of the game for Watford. Gray standing on top of the keeper. Holebas goes to take it on the right-hand side. First one went straight into the keeper's arms, as did Fulham's only one of the games so far. Standing in front of the Rookery End, where the bulk of the Watford fans, the noisiest of the Watford fans, are sitting, hoping to see their team sent off to Wembley with a victory. Here's Holebas's delivery towards the back post. Out it comes towards... Whoa, what a wonderful goal by Will Hughes! Left foot volley, 25 yards, won't see a cleaner strike all season. In off the underside of the bar. Watford 2, Fulham 1. Will Hughes with a cracker. Doucouré was lining up with his right foot. Must have got a shout from the young Englishman instead, who smashed it home. It was a good header out, you know, and Hughes, clean as a whistle, keeper got hands to it, could only push it onto the underside of the bar. Brilliant goal by Will Hughes. There have been some calls, you know, for him to be included in a Gareth Southgate England squad. That is clean as you like. I just wonder whether the keeper could have done better. It dipped, and I think once he's got to it, he's probably got to save it, you know. But Will Hughes will love that goal. Don't even think he's got a song from the Watford fans yet, despite this being his second season, as Mitrovic tries to turn it into Sessegnon from the restart, and it's back to the keeper via Cathcart. I can't tell you what great technique that was from Will Hughes, as Watford have it again. Deeney's ball up towards Gray. It'll be dealt with, I think, by Fulham. There is a Watford player down at the moment, rolling around over on the far side. I think that's Doucouré. That really would be a worry for them. Here's Hughes. Capoue, Janmat, Doucouré is sitting up. I think he might be okay. Cathcart's decided against passing to him at the moment. Watford just checking each time, every now and then looking around, and Doucouré, well, he needs to not be silly, doesn't he? Here's Watford on the attack again. Deeney just played ahead of him by Gray. His sliding ball didn't get anywhere near, and well, Doucouré's moving a bit freer now, but surely you don't be careless with arguably your most important midfielder, although Watford fans will have it that Capoue has been their best midfielder this season, but he's so important to the way they play, isn't he? The way he can drive them forward. They're winning now, and of course remember that as things stand, that means that Fulham are going down. Brilliant goal from Will Hughes, the difference between the two sides. Mop of white blonde hair just came clear through the crowd as he smacked that one in with absolute venom. Fulham has to take a Watford throw in their left back position. As things stand, they're going 7th in the table. Chambers has been booked for something. I have to confess I'm not sure what that is. The confirmation of a yellow card for the man on loan from Arsenal. Here's Christie. Now Kearney from Ongisa into Babel. Babel closed down by Yamba, his fellow countryman, former international teammates. Then Bryan into Kearney again on the left-hand side. Babel. Ongisa turning away from Troy Deeney. And beyond Doucouré to the right-hand side for an opportunity for Chambers to come forward. Ball in towards Mitrovic, who's got a good header on it. Ben Foster was off his line, and it was looping and dipping, and Foster needed to tip it over the bar. This has been a really entertaining encounter. Corner to Fulham. Here it comes from the far side. Chambers tries to hook it goalwards. Half cleared, and then Gray completes it up towards halfway. Doucouré's won it back as well. And here's Doucouré down the left-hand side. I think that's come off of a Fulham player. And it's going to be a throw-in, which Doucouré will leave for Holebas to come and take. Mitrovic wasn't far away from levelling things up there. It was a really good ball from Chambers. Keeper absolutely had to make that save, you know. Mitrovic was vital in the turnaround in the reverse. It was a good game and very nearly won it for them with a header late on. Of course, ironically, as the season turns out, that would have made this not a relegation encounter for them. They'd have had another week. It's with Ream on the left-hand side. Simply not been good enough, despite spending more than any other newly promoted side in the history of the Premier League. £100 million. Pathetic, frankly. So badly spent by Jokanovic and really those around him as well. Tony Khan will take an awful lot of criticism, I think. The man who does a lot of the transfer work for Fulham, the son of the owner. Nominally a sporting director, but really what does the American know about football? I shouldn't use the American in terms of, I don't use that in terms of Americans can't know anything about football. That's absolutely wrong. But just in general, he is an American, that's all I meant. Don't take offence to me if you're listening in the States. See for 1 second what I think. Ball flicked on by Deeney, finds Gray, took it down brilliantly, and he's emerged through here. He's got someone up alongside him, that's Troy Deeney. 3-1 Watford, and does that seal Fulham's fate? Somehow Gray managed to wiggle his way through, and then he just waited for his skipper, who scores his 10th goal of the season in all competitions. I've no idea how he made his way through there, did Gray, and really Deeney just ghosted in and couldn't miss from 7 yards out. Brilliant work from Andre Gray, just too quick, his feet. And Deeney simply could not miss when it was laid on a plate for him. Watford 3, Fulham 1. And that is surely that. Get off your last sub, Javi Gracia. 20 minutes left for play. Watford, as things stand, will go in in second position, in seventh position, to their semi-final against Wolves, who they'll overtake tonight. And does that on paper make them favourites? I'd argue probably not. It's a tougher game today for Wolves than for Watford, although of course Wolves are only facing a 10-man United at the moment. And the corner flag has fallen out, which is why we can't restart yet. The steward has no idea how to get him back in. Oh, it's extraordinary. Fulham will be making a change. They're going to bring on Seri, I think. Yeah, Jean-Michel Seri. The man being sacrificed is a defender. And, well, I'm not really surprised at that. It is Tim Ream who comes off. Is that his last appearance as a certified Premier League player for next season? Jean-Michel Seri come on and play in a attacking midfield role, and who many thought would be the linchpin of their midfield this season. £18 million from Nice. He was out of the squad for the game against Manchester City. In today as a sub. And his first act is to chase Will Hughes backwards, and Will Hughes has found Doucouré, and he's got Gray through the middle, and he's got Holebas outside. Oh, and just tipped wide by Rico. So close, so close for Jose Holebas. And Watford have been so much better in this second half. Far the better side. And Fulham are struggling to live with them at the moment. They're a very good Premier League side now, or Watford. Fulham will be on to better things, I'm sure, next season when they've restructured and had a think, I think, about what it is that they're planning to do. Holebas taps his head. It's a new signal that I've not seen before, in towards the near post. Good header away as far as Holebas. Comes back to Will Hughes. Now Doucouré. Doucouré's diagonal ball looking for Deeney. It's just headed away from him by Christie. And here's Anguissa chasing away, and Deeney makes the block, and that's a throw into Fulham. And Deeney is just holding his shoulder there as he walks away, and looks a little bit of pain. Cathcart for Watford. Back to Marianne. First half poor Watford, second half much better. Had a rocket presumably from Gracia. Ben Foster's clearance towards the far side. He headed away by Christie. Watford tried to win it back in the midfield through Doucouré. He's done so. Deeney brings it down. Smacked away though by Le Marchand. Into touch far side over the top of the managers, standing in their respective dugouts. It's a throw to Watford. 16 minutes of Fulham's Premier League life left as things stand. Fulham relegation party is one sign there as Watford attack again. This is Kiko Femenia. Watford 4, Fulham 1. That does seal Fulham's fate. Yet another away defeat. Watford hit 4 at home in the Premier League. And it's Kiko Femenia who had him as a goal scorer today. His first goal of the season. Andre Gray heavily involved again, holding it up well. Doucouré leaving it unselfishly for Femenia. And how did he have the freedom of Hertfordshire to pick his spot? What were Fulham doing? Head's gone, heart's gone, Fulham gone from the Premier League. Their fans already leaving. It is too easy for Watford. Oh, it's fair to say, have strolled to victory now. Hughes, Kiko Femenia, Watford winning the second balls easily now, although the referee got in the way there. Even the loose pass works for them. Here's Hughes. Hughes trying to find Gray. Gray in the area, takes a deflection. Good block that, actually, it's fair to say. At the back by Bryant, and it's a corner to Watford. Just wide. Holebas to take. This is now their biggest scoring results at home this season. 4. They'd only previously scored 3 once. That was against Huddersfield. Holebas ready to take it over from the far side this time. Here's the delivery into the box towards Mariappa. It's headed away by Fulham, out as far as Hughes. Holebas over on the far side again. Holebas, he's going to want it on his left. Touch behind again. Good defending that, actually, by Le Marchand, but Watford have another corner. And it's Etienne Capoue that's going to be Watford's last substitution. And it'll be the young Portuguese, Domingos Quina, who I know they're very excited about, who is going to come on. And by my reckoning, only once have Watford hit, twice I should say, have Watford hit 4 goals in the Premier League before at home. Here's the delivery in from Holebas. This time it's headed away quite comfortably by Le Marchand. Watford have it back to Holebas though. Holebas's cross comes in. Good header away, that by Christie. Out as far as Kiko Femenia has another shot. This time it's deflected away. Cathcart towards the back post. It was towards Deeney, but he got it all wrong. Against Portsmouth once they got 4 a long time ago, back in 2007, April 2007. And then of course that 4-1 victory over Chelsea last season for Javi Gracia's side. His first ever win as Watford boss. Here's Fulham though with it at the back with Seri. Seri to Kearney. Seri just trying to tell him to push forward, and it's a long one up towards Mitrovic. Mitrovic brings it down, it's going to come to Seri. What a save that is by Ben Foster. Seri managed to work the ball onto his right foot, opened his body, and Foster, well, I mean, he shouldn't have been given a chance, but having been given the chance, it's still a brilliant save, making himself big. What a stop that is, you know. Here come down the right-hand side, Fulham. Block ball, I think Foster's kept that in, has he? No, it is a corner to Fulham. And in the meantime, a big scoreline coming out of Wolves, who now lead Manchester United by 2 goals to 1. A Chris Smalling own goal. Bad to worse for Wolves. Corner for Fulham, to be taken by Bryant. Fulham are down now, barring the most miraculous comeback. Here's the delivery in towards Mitrovic. Wide via a deflection, corner to Fulham. To be taken by Seri this time. Is the delivery and swinger towards the near post. It hits Hughes, comes back out to Seri. Seri right-footed cross header away by Doucouré. Watford will chase it out, but it's picked up by Sessegnon, who's got quieter and quieter as the game has gone on, frankly. Ball is headed away by Mariappa. Watford are on to Troy towards Andre Gray, who's offside. think that's right. I think. Flag went up. And Ryan Babel's evening is over. And they're going to bring on Andre Schürrle. Such a great impact when he first arrived, didn't he, Andre Schürrle? Former German international. A man with so much to give in theory. Tells you everything really that Andre Schürrle is not playing on a regular basis. Struggling to get in the side. 6 goals in his 23 games. They all came prior to December. Well, just the one in January against Burnley. Other than that, he has had injury problems, to be fair. When he came back from a virus against Manchester City, as they work the ball up towards Gray again to Watford, and it's easily dealt with by the goalkeeper. Down it goes, onto the head of Domingos Quina. Kearney turns nicely, works it to the right hand side, just hits the heels of Sessegnon. Quina picks up. Another talented youngster in around the Premier League. Decore to the left hand side for Cathcart. Back he comes to Foster. Decore pulled back there. Keane smashes into a tackle, and there's a chase on with Janmaat and Ongisa, who was a long way behind Janmaat when he started but was quicker than him. Works it onto his left foot, gets the cross in towards Mitrovic, who gets up. Cleared by Mariappa. It was dropping into the goalkeeper's hands, and Watford could have just had it in Foster's arms, but Mariappa just panickingly cleared the ball away, and Fulham continue with this attack down the right hand side. Cross comes in carefully away by Cathcart, but it won't find anybody in yellow and black. Ongisa then just gets in there ahead of Gray, and it's back to the defender Le Marchand. Now to the right hand side, and that's Chambers slipping it up the touchline. It's cleared away by Cathcart as far as Christie. Sessegnon. If he'll be a Premier League player, or if another season in the Championship wouldn't do him a bad thing next season. 101st league appearance of his career. Most of those, of course, in the second tier of English football. As Hughes picks up possession for Watford again, gives it to Deeney. Now out to the right-hand side for Kiko Femenia. Kiko, early ball to the back post, needed to be dealt with by Chambers. Safety first, behind it goes, corner Watford. Who are going 8th at the moment. Olivas to take this corner. Out-swinging delivery on its way. Here it comes, not as good as a couple so far today. Le Marchand clears away. Keena's delivery back into the box is headed away by Fulham. On it goes by Ongisa. It'll be picked up by Janmaat, whose first touch is heavy. He had to chase it hard. Schürrle's back there. He's giving it away to Janmaat. Janmaat's delivery into the box towards Decore. Straight at the goalkeeper. Flew in at it, did Abdoulaye Decore. We remember opened the scoring. Feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it? 23rd minute. Fulham equalising through Babel. Before second half goals from Hughes, Deeney and Kiko Femenia gave us this current scoreline of Watford 4, Fulham 1 here on Premier League Live. Deeney, they're popping it around beautifully at Watford. Here's Hughes, Gray going outside of him. Hughes just elected not to play the pass until it was too late. By all accounts, I believe the own goal that Wolves were given was a comedy of errors. Here is Hughes to
Kiko Femenia continues his marauding run forwards down the right hand side. Gray into Deeney, holding it up, tries to return the favour back to Gray, but it took a deflection and comes back to him. Now here's Holebas. Holebas keeps going forward somehow. It looked like he was losing his balance the entire way through there, and eventually Fulham clear as far as Keena. Yammat. Watford fans shouting shoot. The ball's literally on the halfway line with Craig Cathcart, and Watford fans are shouting shoot. Keena to the right hand side for Kiko Femenia. Hughes, a couple of little back heel turns, and he's giving it back to Kiko Femenia. Hughes took a little touch there off of Ongisa. Throw into Watford. 4 minutes plus stoppage time left for play. 4 minutes plus stoppage time left of Fulham's Premier League tenure. Tom Kearney is being brought off with Kevin McDonald. Scott coming on. All sorts of ankle problems as Kevin McDonald this season. Hasn't played anywhere near as much as he'd have liked. A man who was born in Carnoustie, known considerably more, of course, for his or for its golf, perhaps, than its football. Diagonal ball crossfield from Watford to Cathcart. Now here's Doucouré. Cathcart again. High towards the near side. Kiko Femenia in hours of space. Onto Hughes. Outside of him is Yammat. Yammat, left foot, cross comes in. Awkwardly up by Chambers. Down as far as Doucouré's first touch, I thought for just a second was going to be brilliant, but he runs into McDonald. And now here's Sessegnon, and he's gone down. No foul. Watford have it. Hughes up to Gray. Gray spins, turns. He wants a goal too. Rico with the save. Oh, it could have been anything in this second half. Could have been absolutely anything. Andre is the shout. Well, I mean, he has made a big difference since he came on at half-time, it has to be said. Laying on the goal for Deeney, laying on the goal for Kiko. Just wonder, don't you, do they make that call? Surely you don't leave Dale Afeo on the bench, do you? You have him down the right, who knows? Sessegnon looking to get away from Holebas. He needs to be careful. He's been chased away there by Sessegnon, and then he's gone in with the youngster as well. What is he saying, and what's he doing? There's an FA Cup semi-final to come on Sunday. Now Christie's getting involved, and he's had a push against him. His discipline is not known to be the best, is Jose Holebas. Sure, he'll get a booking. Deeney's having his say as well, rather angrily towards Ryan Sessegnon. Pretty sure he's just said a word that, if my lip reading's any good, is not exactly complimentary. Still, the referee, I don't think, has shown his yellow card, has he? To Holebas. Didn't see it get flashed. Now he's going over to the ref. Troy Deeney's taking him there, and rightly so. He absolutely must calm down. Remember, it's not like in some countries where players getting bookings don't miss their next game in another competition. He could miss the FA Cup semi-final if he's not careful, if he was to be sent off. Seri to take. Fulham fans that are singing at the moment. We've just heard them singing as one of our own as we move into stoppage time. This is going to add some more on, it's fair to say. I reckon 3 minutes, and they'll have another minute for all of that nonsense as the ball is in towards Mitrovic. Good delivery, but Mitrovic can only head towards the keeper, didn't get enough power on it.
offside in the end, you know. Easy save. 4 minutes of stoppage time is what's been signalled. Just a much more secure second half than he was in the first. Whistle went before Gray just hit the woodwork there for an offside. And here's McDonald giving it to Christie. Now on Gisa to Seri. Seri picks his head up and delivers it high up towards Mitrovic, tries to nod it down towards Sessegnon, easy for Cathcart. Now here's Kino with bodies all around him. Schürrle's nicked it off of him, might manage to get that one through towards Seri. Apologies, it was Sessegnon running in, but it was cleared into touch quickly. And here is Anguissa delivering the ball into the box again. Mariappa just lets it drop through to the goalkeeper. And he's going to boom away for Watford once more. I think they'd love to get Gray a goal. Deeney managing to hold it up, but Le Marchand is there first. I think he played that off of Deeney last there, has he? Yes, he has. Throw into Fulham. It's a brilliant save, wasn't it? Sergio Rico's from Andre Gray's effort. In the meantime, down the other end, we saw a super one from Seri by Foster. Throw in, dropped down, smacked away by Bryan. On it goes by Mitrovic. Janmat's going to be there first. He's going to smack that left-footed away into the centre circle. Down it comes by Christie to McDonald. Past Hughes onto Bryan. Up to Mitrovic. Can't bring it down. Hughes takes it off of him. Hughes in towards Deeney. Deeney tries to loop it forward again. Hughes is brought down foul. And a free kick to Watford. Right of the centre circle. 5-10 yards before out to the right hand side. Watford take it. Janmat can't find Deeney in the area. It's cleared by Fulham, but Kina has nicked it off of Mitrovic. Kina works it out to the left hand side. On it goes to Doucouré from Holebas. Turns back onto his right foot. Holebas is going to nick this one, you know. Deeney back to Holebas. Just didn't expect it. Comes back to Doucouré. Tries to bundle it through to Deeney, but it's picked up by Seri. Out to Sessegnon. Sessegnon left-footed down the right-hand side. Up against Kina. Back it comes to Anguissa. Easily nicked away from him by Will Hughes, but not legally. Here's McDonald. Up it goes to Mitrovic. Holds it up. Gives it to Schürrle. Schürrle to Bryan. Takes a little step away from the ball before looping it in towards Mitrovic. Away by Kina. Fulham a minute away or so from the whistle where their fate will be sealed. Watford bringing it away. Here's Gray trying to turn the ball up towards Janmat, taken off of him by Anguissa. Bryan. McDonald now. McDonald up towards Mitrovic. Has been a threat at times today. Into Anguissa. Anguissa towards Schürrle. Credit to Fulham, who have tried for the full 90, even despite being 4-1 down. Schürrle. Into McDonald. McDonald to Seri. Seri, all right-footed. Giving it to Anguissa. Shouts of shoot all the way through. Can they finish off their period in the Premier League with at least something to shout about? Or is it too little too late? Full-time whistle goes. Watford have been brilliant in the second half, and it is simply that relegates Fulham. Scott Parker, relegated with them as a player, is now relegated from the Premier League as a manager. It isn't his fault. Savici Jokanovic and Claudio Ranieri must take their part in the blame. They will rebuild after just one season in the Premier League. They join Huddersfield as a championship side. Watford, in the meantime, go marching to Wembley for an FA Cup semi-final with Wolves, who I believe have now beaten Manchester United as well, on the back of a brilliant 4-1 victory. They huffed and puffed in the first half, second best arguably, but after Doucouré gave them the lead and Babel equalised, in the second half there was only one winner. Will Hughes with the best goal of the night by some distance, a wonderful volley from a corner cleared to him on the edge of the box. Then it was the Andre Gray show, not because he scored, but because he created 2 excellent assists. Once when he held it up from the left-hand side to roll it into Troy Deeney. Another when he managed to roll it across to Kiko Femenia for his first goal of the season. Watford in good spirits. Fulham are relegated. Where now for the Cottagers? They spent more money than any other newly promoted side last summer. £100 million wasted. How many of this lot will start for them on the opening day of the Championship season in 2019-2020? How they'd love for the likes of Mitrovic to be there, for the likes of Ryan Sessegnon to be there. But those surely are the 2 that will be on most Premier League sides' lips as they debate who they can bring in from a relegated side in the summer. It's finished at Vicarage Road. Watford 4, Fulham 1. Fulham are relegated. 2 from 3 we already know are down. And it's only the 2nd of April. Thanks very much for listening. I've been Toby Gillis. It's been a pleasure to bring you a fantastic game from Vicarage Road. Fulham fans' misery, Watford fans' delight. Watford 4, Fulham 1. Here's Tom Rennie and Ben Thornley with the closing stages of Wolves against Manchester United. Credit to Fulham, who have tried for the full 90, even despite being 4-1 down. Schürrle into McDonald. McDonald to Seri. Seri, all right-footed, giving it to Ongisa. Shouts of shoot all the way through. Can they finish off their period in the Premier League with at least something to shout about? Or is it too little too late? Full-time whistle goes. Watford have been brilliant in the second half, and it is simply that relegates Fulham. Scott Parker, relegated with them as a player, is now relegated from the Premier League as a manager. It isn't his fault. Slavici Jokanovic and Claudio Ranieri must take their part in the blame. They will rebuild after just 1 season in the Premier League. They join Huddersfield as a Championship side. Watford, in the meantime, go marching to Wembley for an FA Cup semi-final with Wolves, who I believe have now beaten Manchester United as well, on the back of a brilliant 4-1 victory. They huffed and puffed in the first half, second best arguably, but after Doucouré gave them the lead and Babel equalised, in the second half there was only one winner. Will Hughes with the best goal of the night by some distance, a wonderful volley from a corner cleared to him on the edge of the box. Then it was the Andre Gray show, not because he scored, but because he created 2 excellent assists. Once when he held it up from the left-hand side to roll it into Troy Deeney. Another when he managed to roll it across to Kiko Femenia for his first goal of the season. Watford in good spirits. Fulham are relegated. Where now for the Cottagers? They spent more money than any other newly promoted side last summer. £100 million wasted.
Yeah, maybe adding insult to injury there, that the men running the music of Vicarage Road playing Just Can't Get Enough by Depeche Mode. I think Fulham have had enough of the Premier League, haven't they? They'd like to wrap it up today. Relegated, but still got games to go.
Yeah, they've still got games to go, and it must be so difficult. And they've just got to play for pride. They've got to play for the fans as well. Are going to continue to support them, obviously, but that must be extremely difficult going into matches knowing that you've literally got nothing to play for.
Yeah, sounds like the Watford came on strong in the second half, and I'll tell you what, this weekend, what a semi-final it's going to be in the FA Cup. on Sunday between the team we've watched tonight, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and the team Toby was watching tonight, Watford, who have thrashed Fulham. Absolutely unpredictable, and you feel like it's going to deliver as well, don't you?
Yeah, you do, because they've both got players that can excite. They're both proving to be pretty much the best of the rest outside of the top six as well. And yeah, I think we're in for a thrilling semi-final between these two teams. Very, very difficult to pick between them.
Yeah, we absolutely are the best of the rest right now. Wolves in 7th on 47 points. Watford have climbed to 8th on 46 points. Certainly a race between those two, and Wolverhampton Wanderers newly promoted, just 13 points behind Chelsea in their debut Premier League season, or at least this variant of Wolverhampton Wanderers' debut Premier League season. And we're going to reflect more on this Wolves win and the Manchester United loss when we come back, and we'll talk a bit more about Fulham, who are relegated this evening. They join Huddersfield in the Championship following their thrashing at the hands of Watford at Vicarage Road. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway, is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Has a run of Sterling to find, and he does find him in the area. Raheem Sterling for a hat-trick here! And the hat-trick is gobbled up by Raheem Sterling. What a player this young man is.
Tries to play forward. Hayward puts it up in the air. Comes down. Chance for 3-2. It is 3-2. Perez scores again. Well, it's times to be a Geordie fan from 2-0 down to 3-2 up.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Really good delivery from Knockout. Here's the ball into the back of the net, and Antone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough.
And Wolves with possession through Jimenez. Jimenez is going to go himself. There's another chance here. Come for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Jimenez 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
This time touch trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way, and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal in the final minute of the 90.
He's usually unerring from the spot, Harry Kane. He's scored all his last 5 spot kicks. He faces Bernd Leno and scores again! And Tottenham Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
It is Premier League Live on this Tuesday night special. We've been coming to you from Molineux, where Wolverhampton Wanderers have come from behind to beat Manchester United. Here's the best of the action. Done really well there to go back to Fred, and then McTominay, bit of space for Scott McTominay, and he finds the bottom corner with an absolutely superb drive, skidding off the surface, no chance for Rui Patricio. From the goal kick, they'd want it back again here, Wolves, they'll slip it through to Jota, who's through! And he'll equalise for Wolverhampton Wanderers. First time and they've really got forward for any spell in this game. Brilliant diagonal run by Diogo Jota, found brilliantly, and one-on-one with De Gea. In this form, he wasn't going to miss. It's Wolves 1, United 1. Pogba turns forward, chip towards Lukaku, back to Paul Pogba, return to Lukaku! Oh, it's just wide from Romelu Lukaku, sat up nicely for him, got the connection, but it bobbles agonisingly wide. Fair to say he's got one so far from his team, but Ashley Young has played a really poor challenge here, and he was only yellow carded a couple of minutes ago, and Ashley Young is going to be sent off here by Mike Dean. The hot-headed Manchester United captain may well have cost his team here. Out left to Martinho, that's a lovely ball into Raul Jimenez, breaks the net on Kameni, it's gone in. Will it be allowed? Yes it will. And from trailing 1-0, Wolverhampton Wanderers now lead by 2 goals to 1. It may even go down as a Chris Smalling own goal. Either way, it's Wolves who are celebrating. Yeah, that's the tail of the tape here at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers coming from behind to beat Manchester United by 2 goals to 1. Ben Thornley watched the game alongside me, former Manchester United man, still very much involved with the club as well from a broadcasting perspective. And ever since he got the job, it's all gone downhill on it. What's going on? Get someone else in, new caretaker.
Yeah, even the result on Saturday against Watford doesn't really mask that the last 3 games, and two of them have been against Wolves, who, like I said, turned out to be a bit of a bogey team this year. We can't beat them, and 2 defeats and a draw, and it just shows how far they've come. But obviously United had a chance tonight to really get some revenge for that FA Cup defeat before the international break, and they looked like doing that. They went a goal to the good. Lukaku should have scored before that, Lingard should have scored after that, both with headers, and then Wolves showed and demonstrated why they are such a good footballing team and why they are in the league and why they've got into the semi-final of the FA Cup. They dominated United up until half-time. United did come out, but once the red card came from Ashley Young, it was only going to be really a matter of time before Wolves turned the screw in. And alright, it was a bit of a scrappy affair, but they'll take that all day long, as United would have done if it had come their way.
The race for the Champions League still very much on, of course, but looking ahead to next season, how much work is there to do for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and also for Ed Woodward and whoever comes in as director of football as well? How many of this 11 would you see in next year's starting 11? Yeah,
it's a very, very good question. I think when he got the job, I for one, and I know that an ex-teammate of mine, Mr. Neville, said the same thing, that the hard work starts now, and that means for rebuilding for next season. Not rebuilding, building on top of already a decent foundation.
An extension, a new
roof. Absolutely. Yeah,
a nice loft room for the kids.
Yeah. And he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to decide how he wants to play. He's going to have to decide who he doesn't need in the squad anymore and that can move on, who he wants to bring in that's going to fit the system that he wants to play. All these sort of permutations need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed now, because we're still a way off from Manchester City and Liverpool. We've proved tonight and in recent games, in recent weeks, that we're still a little bit vulnerable, no matter the results that we've had at Arsenal, at Spurs, in Paris. We can't do things like that and then come, no disrespect to teams like Wolves, and not take any point, or take 1 out of 6 points and lose to them in the FA Cup. We have got a gap to bridge, there's no question, both domestically and on the European front.
So at the end of all that, Manchester United sit in 5th in the Premier League table, still above Chelsea, though they have now played a game more. Tottenham in 4th, Arsenal in 3rd. The top 2 is as it has been for a little while, Liverpool top and City in 2nd. Down the bottom, we know Huddersfield Town relegated the weekend just gone. Fulham have joined them this evening thanks to their thumping at the hands of Watford. Here are your 90-minute highlights. Toby Gillis commentates.
Fulham have got their bodies now back behind the ball. Holebas into Pereira. Brilliant bit of skill to take on Chambers. Pereira! Oh, it got blocked. Pereira, he's left it for Doucouré. Doucouré onto his left foot, shoots! 1-0 Watford. And he's got the opener. The one that would Ashley stamp at the 7th. But perhaps more importantly, as far as the big Premier League picture is concerned, would relegate Fulham. It Mitrovic has found Sessegnon, who briefly gets goal side of Holebas, finds the little ball in towards Babel, who's going to round the keeper and equalise for Fulham. Well, I'd say on the balance that's not undeserved, you know. Here's Holebas's delivery towards the back post. Out it comes towards... Whoa, what a wonderful goal by Will Hughes! Left foot volley, 25 yards, won't see a cleaner strike all season. In off the underside of the bar. His first act is to chase Will Hughes backwards, and Will Hughes has found Doucouré, and he's got Gray through the middle, and he's got Holebas outside. Oh, just hit wide by Rico. So close, so close for Jose Holebas. Fulham relegation party. This one signed there as Watford attack again. This is Kiko Femenia. Watford 4, Fulham 1. That does seal Fulham's fate. Yet another away defeat. Watford hit 4 at home in the Premier League. And it's Kiko Femenia who had him as a goal scorer today. His first goal of the season.
Yeah, the story of it at Vicarage Road, a thumping for Watford, who have now knocked Fulham down to the Championship. We're not done this week, though. Those 2 stories from this evening. We've got 3 more games for you coming up tomorrow on a wild Wednesday, I'm going with. Chelsea take on Brighton. Brighton, of course, just, 3 days away from an FA Cup semi-final, so I'm not too sure they'll be risking too many of the first team there. Maybe a chance for even Chelsea to put on an entertaining performance. Man City at home against Cardiff. Neil Warnock has already said they're going to play the under-23s, so could be a cricket score there, but Sergio Aguero is out for Manchester City. Sorry, fantasy football players. Guardiola confirmed that earlier today. Our feature game is going to come from the brand new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're at home against Crystal Palace in front of their fans at their new ground for the first time. Ben, just briefly on that, of course, Man United are in the top 4 race, the Champions League race with Spurs. Is this not a bit unfair? They're going into their new ground for their final few games at home. There's 5 home games they're going to have now.
Well, I think United and the other teams that are chasing that 3rd and 4th spot are probably going to think, well, hopefully it'll have the same hoodoo over them as when they moved to Wembley. You know, it's new surroundings. Yeah, right, it's pretty much on near enough the same site. But maybe they might be nervous. You never know how it's going to be. But certainly it is a fabulous stadium. I haven't been inside it yet, but it does look like space age.
I haven't been there since it was finished, so maybe about 6 months ago, something like that. I was in the kind of club shop bit and a brief look around. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. It really, really does. And I'm hearing some great things about the artisanal cheeses. We're really looking forward to giving them a try when we get over there. If the game eventually happens, you never know with this ground. And maybe some delay happens overnight. And we're all going to be back at Wembley, who knows. But I can't help but feel that whatever happens at this stage of the season, I mean, the clocks have changed. It was still sunny till 8 p.m. local time. They should have waited till next season now. If it's an advantage or disadvantage, it doesn't seem fair to the other 19 teams.
No, it doesn't. And like you said, with a matter of what they've got left, maybe 3 or 4 home games at the very most, it does seem very, very strange to not start the new season in a brand new stadium and switching everything round to do it now.
And finally, Man City against Cardiff tomorrow. We'd expect a City win, certainly following Neil Warnock's comments. And I've got to bring this up with you really briefly, last minute of the show tonight. It could be the Manchester derby that sees either City or Liverpool crowned champions, United as kingmakers. What are you going to do that night? Who are you going to support?
Hey, listen, they've got to be professional. They've got to go out and they've got to play to win the derby. No matter what the outcome is, Manchester United have got to look after Manchester United, and they are now going to have to win that game to get closer to the Champions League after tonight.
Later on this month, if Manchester United beat Manchester City, they could hand the Premier League title to Liverpool. What a story that could be. Ben, great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed. Former United winger Ben Thornley with us tonight. United losing against Wolves and Fulham down. We are back tomorrow from Tottenham Hotspur's new ground as they take on Crystal Palace. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much.
Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Uelemo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.